Well, welcome back to the Colorblind Architect. Today, I'm in Chicago. And why am I in Chicago? I am here at McCormick Place Convention Center to attend the American Institute of Architects 2022 National Conference. So now I've checked in and I'm ready to go do some sightseeing. So now I'm gonna walk up into downtown, take a look at the sights, and hopefully share some of the sights with you.
Here we go.
So, based on the advice of one of the information desk people at the architecture convention, they suggested that I come here to 18th and Prairie and take a look at a famous house that is at this intersection. Now, I'm not sure which house it is, but I'm guessing it's this one over here. And yeah, take a look at it. So what we're seeing here is a pretty old house, but very well built. I don't know if I would venture a guess as to which style it is, but it's a really beautiful house. Looks like it's been here since the 1870s, and very nice. Looks like it's made out of nice limestone with really intricate detailing. So currently this house, mansion, so to speak, houses the U.S. Soccer Federation, which I did not know was based here in Chicago, but apparently it is. Alright, so now that I've seen 18th and Prairie, I'm now going to go down to the lakefront and walk around Soldier Field and the aquarium and eventually get up to Millennium Park. So here we go. Alright, so I'm crossing the Metro line. Apparently it's a commuter rail in this city. But look at that skyline. That's an amazing skyline. A lot of really nice shiny buildings. Now it's like 100 degrees out today, so So this is one of the really cool things about nice architecture, is you'll see we're in an underpass underneath a freeway, and yet you can see they took the time to create architectural detail, like these coffers in the ceiling and those alcoves. For what reason? Other than to beautify this part of the city. It's really nice to see that level of commitment to making things beautiful. So now we're coming up on Soldier Field, and as you can see, this is not the Soldier Field of the 1980s. This has been definitely renovated. I'm gonna have to look up to see when this was renovated, but it's pretty cool looking. They've got some really neat steel and glass, along with the old classical details with the columns and arches that they've always had. Pretty cool. Alright, so found this sign here saying we're in North Burnham Park. Now, Burnham's important because Daniel Burnham, he was a famous architect in Chicago, and he was the architect who designed the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. And this particular park was part of that famous World's Fair where electric lighting was introduced to the world. You might be wondering why I'm walking through a park in Chicago for an architecture video rather than through the city. And here's the reason. Honestly, one of the greatest achievements in landscape architecture was the 1893 World's Fair. Daniel Burnham and famous landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted, they teamed up to design something that had never been seen before. A massive park complex with amazing venues for various events and exhibits. And that was the first thing I thought of what I wanted to see here in Chicago. Not the buildings. The buildings are amazing too. But Burnham Park, this was the moment. It was this park that changed the world from the 1800s into the modern era. This is really what put Nikola Tesla on the map, because it was his lighting and his alternating current with Westinghouse that lit up the world. And architecture was what brought it to the world. So to me, this is an amazing place to visit. And over here you can see more of that classical detailing of Soldier Field. Pretty cool. So through the trees you can see the marina that's out on Lake Michigan, and on the other side of that is Meigs Field. Now Meigs Field used to be an airport. Now for me, this is actually my first trip to Chicago ever. You would think I would have visited before today, but no, it's my first trip. And yet, I feel like I know this city so well because I grew up playing Microsoft Flight Simulator back in the 80s and 90s when I was a kid. And I used to love to fly on that game. And it always started over here on Meigs Field, just on the other side of this marina. And so, when I see the city skyline, I see this geography and this park, I feel like I've come to a place I've known for most of my life, and yet I've never been here. It is such a cool experience. Alright, found my first thing that I dislike about this park. I went through that tunnel, and as you can see, there's what looks like a boardwalk down below this path, and yet there was no path or stairs way to connect from this path to the boardwalk down by the lake. I'd like to be able to go out to Adler Planetarium over there, but now I'm already so far past it that I'd have to backtrack a ways, so kind of weird. Seems like a landscape design misfire, so oh well. Walking by the aquarium now. And of course, you can see Millennium Park, and then of course the skyline beyond. The skyline, as you can see, the Willis Tower. Willis Tower used to be known as the Sears Tower. It also used to be the tallest building in the world prior to the Kuala Lumpur Towers, which kind of took the title until Taipei 101 took the title, and then the Burj Dubai took the title. But yeah, Willis Tower is it's a very tall tower. Really amazing. So if you saw that pavilion that had the very flat concrete roof, that reminded me about the fact that not only is classical architecture a very important part of Chicago, so is modern architecture. In fact, modern architecture was more or less born here. When you look at the modern architecture of Frank Lloyd Wright, and then later, as Mies van der Rohe immigrated from Germany and brought the Bauhaus style to Chicago at the Illinois Institute of Technology, it changed America's skylines. Before then, it was very common for skyscrapers to have a very classical form with Greek columns and pediments, and over time, it became steel and glass skyscrapers. And that style was very much invented here. New York has a lot of amazing stuff too, but a lot of the innovation in architecture happened here in Chicago. Okay, I will say this right now. That is really awkward to have a 6-lane highway right in the middle of the park. Buckingham Fountain. And wow, what a fantastic setting this is. You've got the skyline in the background, this just incredible fountain, and then right over there is Lake Michigan. And it's an amazing sight. And then as soon as I walked up, I realized why Buckingham Fountain looks so familiar to me. Yeah, that's right. Al Bundy, Married with Children, right? This is the fountain in the beginning of that show on the title scene. Oh. Just take a look. This is a pretty fantastic place. So this is something that is definitely missing from Salt Lake City. An outdoor symphony hall. So this is in Millennium Park, and it's also one of the things that I wanted to see while I was here in Chicago. This outdoor symphony hall. There's actually a symphony playing right now, and it's so cool to just look out here and see. You could fill this up with a lot of people. And then check out the curving arch. Okay, about to go into the Willis Tower sky deck. Willis Tower. Got myself a little Shake Shack, and I'm walking back to the hotel. It's been a good tour, good willow walking tour. It was about 4 miles out to Willis Tower. Probably be about 3 miles back to the hotel. So, good exercise for the day. But yeah, nice town. So yeah, continuing my walk back. I'm back into the park. Very interesting how the shoreline park essentially just goes pretty much all the way along Lake Michigan, where the city meets the lake, which I think is one of the really beautiful things about Chicago. One of the other things that I really liked, compared to New York City, Chicago is so much cleaner. They seem to really take pride in their city here. It seems like things are well maintained, the trash is picked up. It's good. So, for the next 3 days, I'll be in classes, getting my continuing education credits to keep my architectural license current. And so I'm probably not going to have much time for any more videos, but hopefully you enjoyed this little walking tour of the city of Chicago, what little bit of it that I could get to, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. I'm the colorblind architect. Peace out.